It's horrible, man. But that's where we gotta stay strong and make sure stop Hezekiah. How do you do that, man? You know that hurts. What if I did that to you?
He won't know until you do that.
Yeah, you married.
They don't know.
You gotta sit down.
I mean, they won't know.
I want to listen to
Shalom.
Shalom.
First and foremost, giving all praise, all honor, and all glory to the Holy One of Israel, whose name alone is Yah, by saying Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Once again, Brother Yoel Shiloh Israel, one of the ministers here at the house of Yehuda, along with Minister Mikael Israel and Minister Yemuel Israel. And once again, it's a blessing, it's a great delight to be here on Shabbat day in our attempt to bring the children of Israel, Yah's chosen seed, back to the holiness of the mighty Yah. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to be here last Shabbat, but I'd like to thank all those that sent all your love and all your support to me and my family and to the house of Yehuda for the passing of my beloved Abba, a great servant of Yah, leader of Yah, a warrior of Yah. And he's missed, greatly missed, greatly missed. Think about him every day, greatly missed. So I'm hopefully able to stand in, and we all hopefully able to stand in and continue to take over from where he left off and what he taught us. So it's a great blessing to be here on the Shabbat day. We'd like to thank the House of Israel here in Cincinnati, Moray Ishaya, Moray Mordecai, Moray Aharon, and our beloved Moray down in Atlanta, Georgia, Moray Elkanah, and all the brothers and sisters, once again, that sent their condolences and love and support. Greatly appreciated. Greatly appreciated. And of course, the services will be held this coming Thursday, April the 1st. For anyone that's happened to be in the city, want to attend at Walker Funeral Home on Gilbert Avenue. Gilbert Avenue. And with that being said, we're gonna teach and deal with some things. We're gonna deal with some things. But if you just tuned in, at the end of my lesson, we're gonna take all questions concerning what Minister Yemuel taught, dealing with day and night. So if you got any questions dealing with day and night, direct it right toward what Minister Michael taught in this lesson today, dealing with the dress code, clothing, and the other things that he spoke of. Address the questions toward him. So we'll leave time for you all to send in your questions or call in to area code 513-377-5815. Call us, please. You are family. You are part of the nation of Israel. We're not here to debate with you. We're here to reason together in truth and love and brotherhood. And with that being said, we're going to deal with marriage today. We're going to deal with some questions that I have. But first, I made a post earlier dealing with, can anyone name me an Israelite in the Old Testament that was taught strictly by Yah? That was only strictly taught, that you could read about, that was taught by Yah. And of course, I only know one man that was only taught by Yah that I can read about. And that was Moses. Moses. who was known as the lawgiver. And as I brought forth, Abraham was not an Israelite. He was not an Israelite. Enoch was not an Israelite. So when I ask questions or when I post something, I'm very specific in what I'm asking. But Moses was the only one that I read about. And most of us have teachers that taught us. It's very rare that I can come in contact with a brother or sister that said everything they learned strictly from Yah and be 100% accurate on what they have learned, on what they have studied, to be a fact. To be a fact. But I want to bring out one thing because I mentioned about Job. And Job was not an Israelite. He was an Edomite. Now, where did I get that from? The scriptures. What scriptures did I get that from? Well, you can look it up online. One of the scriptures is what they call the Septuagint, the LXX. And I'm going to read this in the 42nd chapter. Now, I'll mind you all, this is older than your King James Bible. And many Israelites today, they only go by the KJV, which is one of the most youngest Bibles that's out. Well, I just don't read the King James. I read the Septuagint. I have the Samaritan Torah. I have a Tanakh. I read and study the Targums, the different scriptures, such as the Hallelujah scriptures. You got many different scriptures, the 1611 Bible, before you even had the King James. The King James is one of the most recent, youngest Bibles, but it's the most popular. Now, I'm reading this out of the LXX in Job, the 42nd chapter. This is what it says in the 17th verse. The one brother, he asked me, said, well, show me where it says. He was an Edomite, and right here you're going to read it. In the 17th verse, you can look it up online. It says, and Job died, an old man full of days, and it is written that he will rise again with those whom Yah raises up. This man is described in the Syriac book as living in the land of Uz, on the borders of Idumea and Arabia. And his name before was Jobab. And he's mentioned in the book of Genesis. Living and having taken an Arabian wife, he begot a son whose name was Enoch. And he himself was the son of his father Zerah. And you will find this not only in the book of Genesis, the 36th chapter. You will find this listed in the book of First Chronicles. His name was Jobab, but you only read in the book of Job. So when you study it and read Genesis, you read about Jobab, you don't even know who you're reading about. This man was a king in ancient Edom. He was an Edomite. An Edomite. And before there was any king in the nation of Israel, you had Edomite kings that ruled, that reigned. So I wanted my brother Majid to read this. And you can read Genesis the 36th chapter, my beloved brother Majid. And you will see that his father, man, let me turn there for you real quick and show y'all what I'm talking about. Go to Genesis the 36th chapter. And we're going to start reading in the 31st verse. And the sister asked me about Passover. What do I think about Passover? When is it? It said in verse 31, and these are the kings that reigned in the land of Edom before there reigned any king. Oh, and I don't know if you got the message. You don't have to worry about typing in on both computers, trying to keep up to what the teachers is saying. If the people don't have respect to follow along with Yah's word, then that's on them. But y'all here to concentrate and focus in on what's being taught as well. And you get too distracted trying to type in on this computer, type in on that computer. So we want everybody to be focusing on what's being taught. And I'm not taking any off the brand questions from anyone. We got a question and answer session after I'm done teaching. And if anyone have any questions, they can ask me, him, or Mike on what we talk. Book of Genesis 36th chapter. It said, verse 31, and these are the kings that reigned in the land of Edom, before there reigned any king over the children of Israel. And Bela, the son of Beor, reigned in Edom, and the name of his city was Dinhabah. And Bela died, and Jobab, the son of Zerah of Bozrah, reigned in his stead. This is Job, y'all. Job is one of the oldest books in the Bible. In the Bible. And you'll read about this man also in the book of First Chronicles. First Chronicles. And now that we established that truth, that he was not an Israelite, he was an Edomite. So when you read even in the book of Job, you read how they feared him, how he was revered, the riches of all the men of the East. He was a king that was ruling. Now let's deal with Pesach, the Passover. First of all, the first question got to be asked, can you even keep the Passover today? And absolutely not. Not outside of Jerusalem. Now, how I know this to be true? All you have to do is go to Deuteronomy, the 16th chapter. Deuteronomy, the 16th chapter. But we're going to turn to Deuteronomy, the 16th chapter. And start reading the 5th verse. It says, thou mayest not. Now, what does not mean? It's a warning, a red light. Don't do it. Don't go against this command. Don't violate this law. If you fear Yah, if you reverence the word of Yah, you will not go against this. It says, thou mayest not. Although most of the Israelites, they go against this. They read this. And they see other things that I don't see. And I welcome them in at any time to explain this. It said, thou mayest not sacrifice the Passover within any of thy gates, which Yah, thy Elohim, giveth thee. But at the place which Yah, thy Elohim, shall choose to place his name in. There thou shalt sacrifice the Passover at evening, at the going down of the sun, at the season that thou camest forth out of the land of Egypt. Now, where's that place? It's not Cincinnati. It's not Dimona. Not Ghana. It's only Jerusalem. Now, you won't read it here, but he's letting you know within any of your gates that you dwell at in the land, you are not to sacrifice the Passover, but only at this place. Now, where's this place at? If you go to Deuteronomy, the 14th chapter, not only were you not to sacrifice the Passover, this place, according to Deuteronomy, the 14th chapter, this is where you both took your firstlings, your tithes, your heave offerings. In Deuteronomy, the 14th chapter, it said, thou shalt truly tithe all the increase of thy seed that the field bringeth forth year by year. And thou shalt eat before Yah, that Elohim, in a place where he shall choose. He placed his name there. The tithe of thy corn, of thy wine, the oil, the firstling of thy herds, and of thy flocks, that thou mayest learn to fear Yah. Because if you call yourself doing anything other than what the mighty Yah instructed us to do, you reach that strong, we don't fear him. We don't know him. And every man is going to do that which is right in his own eyes. And verse 24 said, and if the way be too long for thee, as Michael was answering the question earlier today, dealing with tithes, so that thou art not able to carry in, this talking about the first year tithe. Or if the place be too long far from me, which Yah the Elohim shall choose to set his name there, when Yah the Elohim hath blessed thee, then should thou turn it into money. Bind up that money, because the tithe was not money to begin with. It was substance, produce, the increase, the first. We only exchange it for money because we had to travel far to Jerusalem. But when we got to Jerusalem, because that's where the Passover is to be kept, that's where all the holy things were to be taken to. Then we bestowed and took that money and we brought produce, food. Food, as this chapter will clearly explain. And you don't have to be a brain scientist to read this and understand this. You got anybody with a third grade education to read this and understand what this is saying. That's how simple the Most High words is to understand. The problem is, we make that what is simple hard to understand. And a good understanding have all those that keep his commandments. So if you want a good understanding, it don't come from studying even the language. A lot of brothers study the language, read the language, call their son Bang, call their father Ab or Abba, Mama Hema, but they worship Christ. They worship a hippie on a stake. They worship an idol, but they speak Hebrew fluently. And nowhere in Hebrew, Paleo, could you incorporate Yahweh with Yahweh, with Yahuwah? Absolutely nowhere in the name. Will you get that? When you deal with the father and mother principles of Elohim? Absolutely nowhere. But the place, and not only is the Passover to be kept in Jerusalem, we go back to Deuteronomy 16 chapter, the 16th verse. It says 3 times in a year shall all thy males appear before Yah in the place where he shall choose, in the feast of unleavened bread. So do we keep the feast of unleavened bread in the United States? Absolutely not. Do we keep the Feast of Weeks? Absolutely not. Do we keep the Feast of Tabernacles? Absolutely no. And they shall not appear before Yah empty. Because these holy days are specifically for a geographical location. Animal sacrifices is specifically for a geographical location. Now, is the 10 Commandments for a geographical location? Absolutely not. You will never read what the Most High told you to keep the Sabbath day only in Jerusalem, only in the place where he chose to place his name at, only in the land of Canaan. You will never read that, folks. We kept the Sabbath first in Egypt. We rested in Egypt. Now, somebody say, well, we kept the first Passover in Egypt. Yes. But the different thing about the Passover and the Sabbath, after the first Passover in Egypt, all of them after that was a memorial. And all the memorials have to be kept in Jerusalem. When we enter into the land of Canaan, we kept the Passover in the wilderness. But when we enter into our land, then Yah said there should be a place where I should choose to cause my name at. You won't find that in regard to the weekly Sabbath day. Some say, well, how you know how you know Saturday is the Sabbath? Then I ask these people, all these brothers and sisters that want to question us on what they call the SAT day not being a Sabbath. I just simply ask them, then when is the Sabbath? What day is the Sabbath of the week? And I imagine it comes every 7 days. And it's not governed by the moon or the sun. Nowhere in the scriptures is the weekly Sabbath day dictated by a new moon or a full moon or a quarter moon. Absolutely nowhere. That scripture cannot be substantiated. That doctrine can be validated. The Most High waiting on the moon that he created to establish the day of ceasing. When the sun and moon were created to the 4th day of the week. Folks, the 4th day of the week. So you got all type of doctrines flying out here. It's bad. It's bad. And the reason why, because as Yah said, these so-called people that's handling the law, they don't know me. They teaching people and they don't know me. They don't know the law. They have not studied the law intensely. They have not been taught correctly by leaders, by other teachers. And if you ain't sat under a teacher for a good 3 to 5 years, you shouldn't even be out there teaching. Shouldn't be out there teaching. Period. And like I said, Moses was the only exception that I read about. That's why Yah said in the book of the law that the Levites, the priests, his ministers, his messengers, whom he made a covenant with, the sons of Levi, to teach Israel the law. And you got some Levites amongst you, some priests amongst you. And the only reason why they don't know who they are because they don't have a record of genealogy. But the spirit of a man is the essence of that man. It's the essence. It's the essence. But and although you might not know who is a priest, y'all got prophets out here as well. And according to the book of Jeremiah, go to Jeremiah, the 23rd chapter. This is what y'all said about the prophets. In Jeremiah, the 23rd chapter. Jeremiah chapter 23. In verse 21, he said, I have not sent these prophets, yet they reign. I have not spoken to them, yet they prophesy. If they have stood in my counsel and caused my people to hear my words. Now, how are you causing Israel to hear y'all's word when y'all don't even speak in the New Testament? How are you causing the children of Israel to hear y'all words and he don't even speak in the book of the dead or the Quran or the negative 42 confessions? He don't even speak in these books. So how is you calling Yah, chosen people, Yah's son, his wife, his world without end, his everlasting gates, his apple of his eye, to hear his word? They don't even speak in those books. He said, then, if you truly cause Israel to hear his words, you will cause his people to turn from their evil and from the evil they're doing. And the average joke out here don't know what evil is. The Most High defines what is evil. And evil is any person that goes against the law of Yah, goes against his word, you commit evil. You hate your brother in your heart, you commit evil. You holding grudges in your heart, you committing evil. You lying, slandering people, you committing evil. You design your neighbor's wife, you committing evil. You coveting, you committing evil. Men dressing up like women and women dressing like men, you committing evil. You wearing mingled garments, you committing evil. The children not honoring their father and their mother, you commit evil. Yah defines what evil is. But yet, you got prophets out here teaching people, you're not even under the law. So if you're not under the law, how can you even do evil? If you're not under the law. If all the laws are for the land. And this was being taught today. All over internet. By some. Not by all. But if they teach that we teaching evil. Now how can we teach evil? You want to say we're not even under the law. How can a Christian say we doing evil? How can you go by the New Testament? The New Testament teaches you're not even under the law if you're going about Paul writings, Paul epistles. How could you even open up your mouth and quote a man, Paul, who said you're not even under the law of Yah? Then if you're not under the law of Yah, how could you commit evil? Totally impossible, folks. But we're going to deal with some evil today and some things today. Yeah, they want to quote Lamentations 2:6, where it's telling the law is no more. We amongst the Gentiles, yes, we amongst the nations, because we broke the law. We went against Yah's command, and he scattered Israel to the four corners of the earth. And the law, he wasn't talking about his 10 commandments, y'all. He wasn't talking about his dietary law. You dealing with the sacrificial law, because when the Babylonians came in with King Nebuchadnezzar and destroyed the temple, the altar was destroyed. The priest was taken away. The prophets was taken. We were taken away in captivity. It's been talking about the sacrificial order. It's no more. We can no longer do sacrificial sin offerings. Not that it's done away with, but it's no more because it can only be done in Jerusalem, in our homeland, with the temple being built, with the altar and the priest in their rightful order. Well, let's deal with some things today. So I got a question. Circumcision. Can a woman, can a married woman circumcise a man today? Any man today? If she got the skill and knowledge to do it, can she? You mean to tell me a married woman with the skill and knowledge can't circumcise a man today? And why couldn't she do it?
In the law, if a woman helped her husband in battle, or if they two men are striving.
Oh, my brother Mikael bringing a scripture out. Let's go there. Let's go to Deuteronomy 25th chapter. Let's go to Deuteronomy 25th chapter. Let's see. Let's start reading at the 11th verse. It said, when men strive together, one with another, and the wife of the one draweth near for to deliver her husband out of the hand of him that smiteth him, and putteth forth her hand and taketh him by the secrets, by the power. Her husband is fight with a man, and this man is getting the best of her husband, and it doesn't look like her husband gonna make it. So what she does, she take and grabbing this enemy, this other brother's fight with her husband, and she grabbing down there, was very sensitive to deliver her husband. Yah said, you shall cut her hand off and not show her pity. Good gracious almighty. She trying to save her husband's life, and she grabbed this man in order to save her husband's life, and y'all said cut her hand off? Good grace almighty. So I asked the question, could a married woman circumcise a man? Now, if Yah is showing us this extreme case of this wife saving her husband's life in her attempt to deliver him, what make women out here think that they can have an occupation going up and down circumcising male penises? What make them think that? Even if they got the skill and knowledge to do it. Now, can a woman do her son? Absolutely. Because we can read of a testimony of this. If you go to the book of Exodus, the 4th chapter. Exodus, the 4th chapter. Let's see, Exodus, the 4th chapter. It says in verse 24, and it came to pass by the way of the end that Yah met him and sought to kill him. Who? Moses. Because Moses didn't circumcise his son. And he, being a leader of Israel, a prophet, the greatest prophet ever, Yah said, I'm going to kill you for not doing what you're supposed to do. And his wife, Zipporah, took a sharp stone and cut off the foreskin of her son and cast it at his feet and said, surely a bloody husband art thou to me. So he let him go. Then she said, a bloody husband thou art to me because of the circumcision. So Yah allowed him to live because his wife was very perceptive. She seen this angel with this sword coming ready to take Moses' head off. She said, get that sword, look at herself, shut up. No anesthesia, no pain pills, no hemp oil, just rub with the rock. But that was her son. And my question was, can a married woman circumcise men? And I don't see it today. I don't see that at all. Yah even giving a married woman leeway to touch another man's penis. Now, why did I bring this stuff up? And talking about this, because you got a case out with Deshaun Watson, a quarterback for the Houston Texans, who I believe is being, well, I know that they came out, they said one of the women that they found out was trying to blackmail him for some money. Because she's in the business of massaging. And I asked the question, should a married woman massage on men that's not their husbands? Is that an occupation that a woman should? See, we don't learn the ways of the heathen so much today. We so far removed from the ways of the old past. So I'm asking you sisters out here, we're dealing with righteousness. Righteousness. Is it proper for a married woman to be massaging on single men? And that's her job. That's how she makes a living. To support her family. Put food on the table. Got the children that's hungry. That's how she makes her living. And you're aware now, y'all shouldn't be judging her. Judging married women like that dancing on poles. Naked, half naked. Well, I'm not. Y'all is the judge. Yeah, I'm just putting forth the questions. And see, is this consistent with righteousness or not? And I'm asking, is it okay for a married woman to have an occupation? And they say, doing this massage, they massage the buttocks, every part of the man. And they said sometimes he actually said these pro athlete football players, they get real tight down there. So that's one spot that the women, they get asked to massage it. The football player want it, they massage it. It ain't no going in. But now you want to blackmail this man. You want to give this man a bad name, make him look bad. And one woman came out. Now, why wasn't, and they talking about we got violated. He violated us. Well, why were y'all crying out? As the scriptures speak, when a woman is being raped. Why does it take one woman to come out? Then you got 10 and 20 and 30 different ones coming out months later, years later. He did that to me too. Oh, and I was forced in rubbing his penis too. I was forced in massaging his groin. What were these women at? And knowing when they went into the occupation, that was part of the job description. They don't want to claim that they was forced to do it. Did he put a gun to their head? Did he put a knife to their throat? But this is what's happening today. Let's show the people the law. So we got to get back to the old path. So a lot of people don't know that, and I'm dealing with marriage today, because with a lot of women, you need to know the jealousy of a man, of your husband. And we're going to deal with some things today. Go to the book of Exodus. So go to Deuteronomy, the 22nd chapter. Deuteronomy chapter 22. Gonna deal with mixed marriages. We're gonna deal with marriage, Torah versus the heathens. Go to Deuteronomy 22nd chapter. Let's read this. In verse 22. It says, if a man be found lying with a woman married to a husband, then they shall both of them die. Why? Because it's adultery. Both the man that lay with the woman and the woman. So shall thou put evil away from Israel. Yes, adultery is when a man lay with another man's wife or any man's wife. That's adultery. Whether the man is married or single, you lay with another man's wife, that's adultery. Adultery is not a married man laying with a single woman, folks. Then it says, if a damsel that is a virgin be betrothed unto a husband, and a man found her in the city and lie with her, betrothed, they are not married. They are engaged, betrothed. They have not yet went through the ceremony yet. They are not yet cohabitating together. Though they betrothed. They wasn't shacking up together. That wasn't the ways of our fathers. Shacking up, then they get married later on down the road. No. It says, then ye shall bring them both out unto the gate of that city. In verse 23, 3, if a damsel is a virgin, be betrothed to a husband, and a man found her in the city and lie with her, then you shall bring them both out of the gate of that city, and you shall stone them with stone. They die too. She can't say, oh, we weren't married though. Yes, but you was engaged. You was off limits. You was espoused to this man. Don't nobody come up and talking to my wife, talking about, well, y'all ain't went through the ceremony yet, Joel. She still was a free woman. We let it publicly known that we are engaged. We got a date set to be married. It's not up to you, trifling Israelite brothers out here, if any, of this man state, to come sneaking behind any brother talking about something. Hey, you know I hollered at you first, and you know he ain't really got a stable job yet. And I already got everything in order. I got my house here. He's still working towards it. And I think you should come and, you know, hook up with me. No. Absolutely not. You don't go messing, go kissing on a man's wife. Rubbing on a man's wife. Grabbing on a man's wife like that's your wife. You'd be amazed at what you see around the house of Israel for years and years. People coming right into the sanctuary. Grabbing on the wife. Grabbing on the wife. Lose your life. Right in the place. But these things I witnessed. So I'm speaking about what I saw. Things that I witnessed. It's a no. And they need to be crying out if it's happening in these places. The women, because you're not crying out, you just as guilty. You is just as guilty enticing that type of behavior. Your old man, he around the corner. Yeah, your little boyfriend, he touching on your behind. He's squeezing your butt cheek. Y'all already getting stuff set up. What's going to happen later? He a little man on the side. You'd be amazing what goes on. You don't interfere with somebody else's relationship. Then it says, the damsel because she cried not, be in the city, verse 24, and the man because he hung his neighbor's wife. Ain't no man, Deshaun Jackson Watson feet and skin wasn't under no woman's fingernails. They weren't scratching him and talking about, you stop this. No, I ain't rubbing your groin. I ain't massaging you. And this man was forcing them to do this. And they making thousands of dollars. Had one sister in here years ago. They're into the massage thing. And of course, she didn't think nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with rubbing on another man. Now, while I'm speaking this, let me ask you this. You can tell me about gynecologists and what they do. You could tell me about when they do a retrovaginal exam, what they do. Who can speak on it? How many women out here got male gynecologists? Or let the male man do a retrovaginal exam on her. Well, let me tell you what they do. Let me tell you what they do. This is when the doctor or nurse, then when they put on the glove on the finger that they choose to be 1 finger, 2 fingers. And we know what they do when it comes to the male checking his prostate. They take, and you better hope his fingers ain't huge. Take his fingers, put a glove on, and stick it right up your rectum. Right up your rectum. And don't squeeze your butt cheek. They say because the more you squeeze, the more pain you feel. That's why black males don't like getting checked when they supposed to get checked. Because it scares them half to death of getting checked for prostate cancer. Because be in fear of the hand. But with the retrovaginal exam, the doctor, they put on the glove on the finger, and they put into the rectum, They check for the muscles between the vagina of a woman and the anus. And they check for tumors behind the uterus, on the lower wall of the vagina, or in the rectum. That's what they do. Now what if you allow your wife to go in and you got these heathen men just playing all in your wife? Is this consistent with the ways of Yah?
Absolutely not.
And you got some freaks in these hospitals. Pedophiles, freaks. They get off on this stuff. And she just, more she's squeezing and he just getting excited about it. He just laughing inside. And then you got someone, they do the breast exam and they take it off. And she's taking it off, and of course, he been waiting on them hands to get close to it. And he's feeling, be feeling for some lump of this and that he's feeling. And you in the room sitting there watching him feel. And you just in there sitting watching. Feel. It's just the ways of our forefathers, Moray Yield.
Crazy. Oh man.
But this is what happens today in our community. And with the Israelite community nation, we got to get back to the path, y'all. This stuff is sickening. Men handling your white breast, handling your white vagina.
That's true. That's true.
That's why they have midwives.
Correct.
And all this stuff.
Yes.
So I had to speak on this. I had to deal with it. You women, get you a woman gynecologist. How these freaky men up there, these foreign men, white men, heathens, just playing all in you, like party time. And she might come back, well, baby, how did the exam go? And don't ask her to go into details. Because when she's all going to the details, telling you, you gotta get facts. He did what? He what? I didn't know he did all that. Yeah, I don't think you know that. You've been knowing that for years. Oh, that's what you gotta be up on knowledge of things, what's going on in these hospitals, what's being done with your wives, your children, all this stuff. That's a no-no. No-no. Now, marriage. Marriage. What is marriage? Is it two people laying down together and cohabitating together and getting their rocks off? Is that marriage? By scriptures? Absolutely not. And how we know it's not marriage? Who can give me a scripture? How we know that it's not marriage? Two people just laying down having fun together. How we know that's not marriage? Well, real simple. Go to the book of Genesis. There's just one place, but I'm going to go to two. Go to Genesis. I'm going to deal with everything. Do you need somebody, a priest to marry you? I'm going to deal with all this. Genesis. It will be by Yahweh. Genesis, the 34th chapter. Genesis chapter 34 says, and Dinah, the daughter of Laban, which he bare unto Yaakov, went out to see the daughters of the land. And when Shechem, the son of Hamor, the Hittite, prince of the country, saw her, he took her and laid with her and defiled her. Now, how could he defile her if he just laid with her? She is wife. How could she be defiled? And it was so bad. It was so bad that the sons of Yaakov that heard about it, Simeon and Levi, they was angry. They was upset by this behavior. You got a strange man, a Hittite man, doing this to our sister. And they was grieved. They was grieved on the account that they slew every male that got circumcised. That's how angry they was. But let me ask you brothers out there, you fathers. You always out there. Do you get angry when men lay with your daughters? They're not married to him. Now, if you say yes, most say yeah. Do my baby girl like that, my daughter? How many daughters have you made whores out of? How many daughters have you lain with without batting an eye? Do you only get angry when it's done to your daughter? That's why the money y'all said, love thy neighbor as thyself. Israel, we don't even know what love is. We don't even know how to show love. But they was angry. Because this is not the type of behavior that should be going on in Israel. You got young girls dating, 14 years old, 15 years old, mama letting them date. Because the Abba ain't around. He's gone, incarcerated, but he's not there. So what she do? She let them date, or she bring a strange man into the house. Her boyfriend, her lover. And then the boyfriend and lover get to looking at the daughter. Daughter looking pretty good. How old is she? Well, she only 14. That's my baby girl. Then he seen another one come in. She 15. He say, what, you got another one? Oh my goodness. Then what the mother do? The mother leave the daughters with the predator. Then the predator end up raping the daughter. You think that don't go on today? Laying with the daughter? Raping the daughter? My Abba didn't allow us to leave out the street. He was so strict. You ain't going off the street. And we live in a quiet neighborhood. Anytime we're one of the most quietest neighborhood, couldn't leave out the street. Then they watch who they let spend, we took out, leave us with. You don't leave your children with any old body. Especially your baby girls. Now the boys are precious too, but especially the girls. You don't leave them with any old body. No. It's either with grandma or nobody. Grandma or nobody. Because you got a lot of what they call incest to go on. Uncle raping this. Auntie raping this. My brother told me he's still affected by it. By this woman getting hold of him when he was a young boy. And it was an older woman. And she made him do some things. Said, good gracious. His mind is messed up to this day. And some don't even recover from things like that. See, it is no going to jail for a rapist. He's dead. Y'all said that's so bad, as if you slew your neighbor. You locking these rapists up. You locking these people, they getting out 5 and 10 years later. And you get a notice in your mailbox, you got a predator in your neighborhood, you got a serial rapist in your neighborhood, and they go rape somebody else. And then today I'm just driving up and down the street seeing young girls out playing, young boys out playing. What, looking around what? I mean, little toddlers. That's running around. Where the Albert at? Ain't nobody outside. They got people driving up in trucks that's grabbing them, selling young girls to do prostitution. Or they killing them and taking their organs. This type of stuff goes on in the United States of America, one of the most, if not the most wickedest place. So you gotta monitor your children 24/7. Can be right outside on your porch and get taken, snatched. I just turned my back for 1 minute. Where my baby at? Your president, he been watching your house. You being stopped. Don't think people don't watch your house. When you leave on the Sabbath, when you come back on the Sabbath, they know you're an Israelite. Who you leave home, oh, he's dominating his wife at home. Oh, wife and the mother go, they children at home by themselves. They watch. You watch. Then you got some foolish parents that want to post themselves going on vacation. The children is at home by themselves, taking Facebook pictures of the family together, and they over in this earth. Let people know exactly where you at. So what is this stuff that's going on today in Israel? You gotta be conscious of where you at. This is hell. This is captivity. This ain't no freedom land, no candy land. This is hell. Captivity. So no, this sex is not marriage. This type of behavior is not marriage. Shacking up with somebody one night, booty calls. You just is whore for the night. I don't care how long you've been with one man, woman. I don't care if it was from you was 16 years old to now you 80 years old. He never married you. You was his whore for that period of time. He got all the milk without having to buy the cow. That's all he did was milk you until the milk got dried up. Then he move it on. Move it on. And as I said, what woman will give away their TV for free? Let a man just come in and take the screen TV out the house and don't stop him. But you will open up your corn purse for everybody that come by. Freebies. Just handing out freebies. Hand it out here. Just handing it out. And it's sad. Sad. Today, as far you got a man state attitude, man, you and the you gotta teach your daughters and your sons. Man, you touch my daughter, I'll kill you. I'll kill you. And a young man ain't no date. Barely without being chaperoned. Without being courted. We gotta go back to the old path. So let's deal with the old path. Well, let's show them another law. Go to Deuteronomy the 22nd chapter.
Hallelujah.
Deuteronomy chapter 22.
Hallelujah.
Let's read. We're going to start reading verse 28. It says, if a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, she's not engaged, she don't belong to no man, and he lay hold on her and lie with her, and they be found. They doing the nasty. They was found. They was busted in the act. This is not rape. They was both found. She didn't scream out. She didn't holler out. Then the man that lay with her shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver, and she shall be his wife, because he had humbled her. He may not put her away all his days. There was his punishment. So he couldn't put her away under the law of Deuteronomy the 24th chapter if he found uncleanness in her. No, he was stuck with her. She talked back to him. Stay all night with the women sisters. Come in when she want to. Ain't no, hey, I'm putting you away. No. He may not put her away all his days. Unless she committed idolatry. Unless she committed adultery. A sin that was worthy of death. But the average sin, he couldn't put her away. But nothing. Nothing. And it say, and he shall, because he had humble, he may not put away her all his days. All his days. And in the book of, we want to go to Exodus. I believe 21. Because just laying down together don't make a woman your wife. Let me see, where do we want to read? Where do we want to go? Because one scripture deal with, if a man entice a maid and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife. Meaning, y'all wanted him to do the right thing. Just don't keep laying with these women having babies by them. And then the grandma had to take over, and now she's the mom. Now grandma is raising the babies. That's not the order of Torah. Things got to be done in order. And the parents, the guardians, the Ab, the Ima, you control that. And what I mean by that? What I mean by that? We're going to get there. We're going to get there. And that was Exodus 22 and 16. If a man entice a maid that is not betrothed and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife. So that destroys all that sexist marriage crap. That's a false doctrine. Can't be established by Torah law. Like I said, these brothers don't even study the Torah. They couldn't read this and come with that type of understanding. Now, do you need a priest to be married? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Let's go to the book of, back to Deuteronomy 22nd. Deuteronomy chapter 22. Deuteronomy chapter 22. Let's read in Deuteronomy 22nd chapter, the 13th verse. Say, if any man take a wife and go in and turn up, first he got to choose a wife. And he that findeth a wife, a prudent wife, findeth a good thing, and obtaineth favor of Yah. He first got to choose a wife, then marry her. Can't put the cart before the horse, folks. And he said, but in this case, he said, hey, but he hate her and give occasion of speech against her and bring up an evil name upon her and say, I took this woman, and when I came to her, I found her not to be a maid. Like the book of Isaiah, the 7th chapter, 14th verse, speaking about a maiden, a young lady. And all our maidens should be virgins. A maiden, they should not be engaged in an activity if she does not have a husband and she is not married. It said, then shall the father of the damsel and her mother take and bring forth the tokens of the damsel's virginity. Now, how did they get the tokens of the damsel's virginity? What is this talking about? Unto the elders of that city and that gate. Because the night of that cohabitation, when he went in unto her, they took what they had. They had a cloth. And this cloth had on it the blood from the hymen that was broken from the young maid. And that was used as a witness that on the night that this man went into my daughter, she was a maid. And the damsel's father shall say unto the elders, so what did also this show? That the father and mother was involved in the child's life, in the daughter's life. And I gave my daughter to this man. I gave my daughter to this man to wife. And he hated her. And lo, he had given occasion of speech against her, saying, I found not thy daughter to be a maid, yet these are the tokens of my daughter's virginity. And they shall spread the cloth before the elders of the city. The elders had to get involved now. And the elders is who Yah had with Moses, 70 elders. He always told Moses, go gather the elders. Don't leave a young man at home. A young man for war, old man for counsel. So if you're seeking wise counsel, seek wise elders. Elders that have been studying the law, know the law, can teach the law. You just don't seek somebody because they old or because they gray-headed. It could be an old fool you're dealing with. So you want to seek somebody that's old but with wisdom. And hopefully with age come wisdom, but not all times. Not at all times. But hopefully with age come wisdom. I'm blessed to be 50 years old. I'm not an elder. I don't use Leviticus when a priest is supposed to retire to say I'm an elder. I'm not an elder. I'm not a hoary head. I'm not the ancient. You dealing with men today, and since Yah shortened the lifespan of man today to 310, and men is not living or women to the age of our fathers, elders today could be in the 60s, 60 years old, elder. Because he do good if he reached 310 and 70. He do real good. And it's a blessing the older you get. So I'm blessed every year that Yah allows me to live. That's a blessing. That is a blessing. Look forward to getting old. But like one of my teachers always tell me, I got more years behind me than I do in front of me. I know that. And you as you get older, you appreciate, you start, as y'all said, teach me the number of my days, that I may apply my heart to wisdom. And the older you get, hopefully the foolishness start leaving. More foolish, the less foolishness you do. Hopefully you ain't a fool at all. But we always say everybody plays the fool sometimes. But the older you get, the more wisdom should increase. And the more wiser you should become. But the father and mother was involved in this. And look, this is so serious. It says in verse number 20, but if this thing be true, and the token of the virginity be not found for the damsels, then they shall bring out the damsel to the door of her father's house, and the men of their city shall stone her with stones that she die, because she outwrought folly in it. This is folly. She played a whore in her father's house. Now, in these clubs today, they pop bottles, and the more money a dope boy got, the more women he got on his arm. And he got an arm full of whores. But if they talking about doing something in righteousness, what? I do that. What? Not me. See, to be a whore is popular today. It's popular today in the society. To be wicked is everywhere. You can't escape it. The wickedness is everywhere. The best you can do as an Israelite is to try to separate yourself. Be like Enoch. Almost have to go into seclusion. But as the psalmist said, I'm a companion with all those that fear Yah. So I associate myself with those of like mind. Not leaving my people behind that don't know Yah. But my companions and my friends and my gonna be those that fear Yah. I can't run with a drug dealer. I can't run. I'm gonna run with an adulterer. I can't run with these people. Can't do it. It's a contradiction of the light. And to the wicked, the righteous is an abomination. And to the righteous, the wicked is an abomination. And birds of a feather, they're gonna flock together. They're gonna flock together. But this is serious. Any girl that played the whore in her father's house was put to death. Put to death. And she was married out to be a virgin, a maiden. But this stuff happens all the time. All the time. And then you got women that's having children by other men that's not even their husband. Yes, they stepping out on their old man. The old man ain't doing what he supposed to be doing. Them Viagra pills stop working, and so I still got some itches that need to be scratched. You think these women, some of these women, ain't stepping out? Sure they are. Sure they are. And you can pick up the change in your mate. You can pick up behavior changes. Things start changing. She started doing things that she normally wouldn't do around you. She normally go out the house looking like Ugmo. Hair all messed up, shoes all tore up. Now she in the mirror 24/7 doing this, going to work, all this, putting this on. You're dressing like this. You didn't used to do that. What's going on? Oh, it's Tyrone at the job now. Tyrone done caught your eye. Oh, okay. Okay, now I see why you're in the mirror 24/7 now. Okay. And any man's wife that don't respect him, as I have to tell my other brother, you take that foot and you get out. You kick her out your house. Not the other way around. She kicking you out the house and you crying. Baby, let me back in, baby. You sound like Keith Sweat now. Baby. Baby, let me back in. I'm sorry, baby. I love you, baby. Now you sound like baby, come back to me, baby. You just crying, just weeping, and she just look at this weak fool. Look at this fool. I told him I don't want him no more. I can't stand his guts. The more I dog him out, the more he keep running back to me. It's a blessing. Move on. You know how many women out here that's looking for a strong husband? Now, strong men. Because a strong woman don't want no weak man. Don't want no Mr. Betty Cracker now. They don't want no weak man. They want a strong man. Strong man. Man is a protector. Man, a husband that was ready to die for them. Fight for them.
Praise
If
Yah.
you ain't ready to die or fight for your wife, then you ain't ready to get married.
Praise Yah.
Because ain't no man gonna let another man disrespect his wife,
Praise
touch on
Yah.
his wife, rub on his wife, talk to his wife in no type of way. What? Nah, ain't no, What? It's right in front of him too? No. No. Women looking for security, they looking for power, they like power. Who's in their money? Strength. Won't want no weak man, only want a cute with a weak man, the young girl. Now she want the cute little boy with a little fancy car and little rims on it. She don't care. She's just having fun. But a woman, she's looking for stability. Stability, strength. Now let's go. Let's go to the book of Malachi, the 2nd chapter. Malachi chapter 2. Let me tell you about my father was a warrior. He was a police officer for years. Years, police force. And to be a police officer, but my goodness, back then in the 70s. And how long was he in a police law enforcement? A good while, good 20 years at least. And he worked with Dart. Oh my goodness. And he not only was he out there, and your life is on the line when you in that type of field. But he was, of course, a grand master in martial arts. And he was born to be a warrior from his youth. And he didn't take no, you know what? He didn't just did. Very firm, very, hey. He meant what he said and said what he meant. And like I said, to the very end, he said, I'm going to teach the scriptures how it should be taught, the right way. And we're here to teach the scriptures the right way. Don't need to add to it. Ain't no diminishing from the law. The mighty Yahuwah changes not.
Hallelujah.
His law is perfect.
Hallelujah.
Only thing we got to do is magnify Yah and the law.
Praise Yah. Praise Yah.
That's all we got to do. The job is real easy. Don't make it hard. In the book of Malachi, the 2nd chapter. This is what it says, Malachi chapter 2. It says, verse 15, it said, did not he make one? Yet he hath the residue of the spirit, and wherefore one? That he might seek a Elohimly seed. That's why y'all want the man and the wife to be joined together. But hopefully one day, they blessed, they have an Elohimly seed, they can raise up fear of Yah, reverence in the Most High, keeping his laws, keeping his commandments. Therefore, take heed to your spirit, that let none of you deal treacherously against the wife of your youth. For Yah Elohim our Israel said that he hated putting away. And he does. Yah hate putting away. Hates it. Hates it. But then why do a lot of Israelite marriages only last good 5 years or less? Some don't even last a year. Things get rough. Some people that can't deal with adversity. They can't deal with a hardship. One lose the job, man lose the job due to whatever reason. Some woman ain't strong enough. Then you get to see, boy, you brittle. I thought you were strong. Adversity comes on us in our lives. And you know how strong you are. When adversity comes, adversity and responsibility. But a lot of people can't handle adversity. Especially a lot of married people. They said finances, communication, and adversity. Those was, man, tear marriage apart. Now, if your marriage was built on money, that alone, or the bed chamber, that alone, it won't last. See, it got to be built on the foundation of fearing Yah, reverencing the Most High. Because that's within the law and with Yah, that's where you get your strength from. See, a weak man can't keep Torah law. A weak woman can't keep Torah law. That's why it's so convenient for people to do evil. You got to be strong to walk this way of life. Weak man or woman can't do it. Just can't. The road is just too hard. We done lost the house, the car. Y'all done smoked you with boils. Just curse Elohim and die. It's time to just die. People can't take it. Wife get to change, her attitude change. Husband start getting angry because they left the house. Now they in a little shack. But don't they realize they got something? The car got repossessed, but they still got the mobility to walk. They still got something, not in a hospital bed, laying up, can't move. Don't you know some people can't even move? Paralyzed. You got your mobility. But what you do, you complain, Israel. Now realizing you still in prison. You still in jail. Captivity. But Yah said he hates putting away. So we got to ask ourselves, do we hate what Yah hate? Do we hate what he hates? Let's go and deal with marriage. Because marriage is a covenant. It's a covenant agreement that two parties enter into. It's a covenant agreement. Let me say it again. It's a covenant agreement. You do not have to make vows. Vows is something independently that you choose to do on your own. I vowed I'm gonna love you forever. Oh, you God, you're gonna love me forever. Oh, okay. So you vow that. Now I ain't washing your clothes for you no more. I ain't cooking your food no more. Now don't get talking about you gonna put me on. No, you said you're gonna love me forever. You gotta watch what comes out of your mouth. That's why Solomon said, keep thy foot without going into the house of Elohim and be more ready to hear than then give the sacrifices of foods where they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash with thy mouth, nor let thy heart be hasty to utter anything before Yah. For Yah is in heaven above and thou upon earth, therefore let your words be few. That's why I have a real quick ceremony. Real quick. We get this over with real quick. Ain't no long drawn out speeches. Because you get to talk it more long, then you get to make mistakes. So I saying things that you say, oh boy, I did say that, didn't I? Then if you make it real quick. But if you got something long to say, write it down on paper. Read over it again, and read over again. Because you can't take it back. Once that which goes out of your mouth, you cannot take it back. Now let's go to the book of Deuteronomy. The 7th chapter. Deuteronomy chapter 7. Let me ask y'all this question. Because we talked about it a few weeks ago. If an Israelite couple, and I'm speaking about Israelites that, because all of us are Israelites, but some don't know who they are. So let me make this real specific. An Israelite couple, but they don't know that they're Israelites. Except for one woke up. One day, Yah tapped him on the shoulder and say, hey, you Israel. I'm the creator. I'm the creator. And I'm bringing you to me to let you know who I am and who you are. One of the two woke up, man or woman. One of them. But the other one, they did. They did. One is still worshiping idols. The other one is worshiping Yah now. Let's deal with the man first. The man woke up, but his wife did not. She don't see it. She's been perfectly honest with him, but baby, I just don't see it. I'm reading what you're saying, but you know, the Lord, you know, Christ is the pillar of my life. He done delivered me from all my sicknesses. He done been with me and my family a mighty long way. And we only got what we got because of the sweet Lord Christ. That's the reason why how you think we got this big house? Because of the Lord and things we've been doing in the streets, feeding people, doing this, going to church faithfully every Sunday. When you were sick, we prayed in the name of the Lord Christ, and he healed you, baby. And he healed me too. So I know the Lord brought us a mighty long way. Now you the truth that we've been knowing all our life, we've been doing good. But these Israelites saying that told you an Israelite, and this Yahweh, what's his name? What you call him? Yahweh, Yahuwah, how do you say it? Are you saying that he's the true God now? And you now got a dietary law that he gave the Israelite that we don't follow. But we've been eating pork, baby. We've been sick. We don't got no high blood pressure. We all right. Do you got that? No, baby. I don't have it. And how long you been eating pork? About 20 years now. All right then, baby. The Lord has been good to us. But now you talking about we can't eat pork, can't eat catfish and shrimp now? And now we got to keep what? A Sabbath day? A day of a day of rest? Every day is God's day. Every day is Lord's day. Not just one day out of the week. And she don't see it. What should he do? And she want to continue to go to church. She want to continue to celebrate Christmas and Easter. And she said, well, baby, just give me time. Give me time, baby. Give me time. Give me time to study it. See what you're talking about. I will come to class with you and see what these Israelites talking about. Okay? But give me time. How much time should he give her? Yes, Maria.
I say maybe up to a year. I know that seems like a long time, but it took him probably a lot longer to wake up.
You said maybe a year?
Now, I ain't gonna go too much longer than that, because that year gonna be real hard. But there's gonna have to be some stipulations.
Oh, but there gonna be some stipulations. Would you like to elaborate on the stipulations? Come on in here so everybody can hear you.
First off,
yes, let your voice be heard.
Some people may disagree, but I wasn't. I didn't grow up as a young person knowing what I know today. And I know even today when we talk to people, whether it's through way from behind the podium or just having conversations.
Yes.
People are not just going to change overnight.
That's right.
Because we're talking, just because we're talking to them.
We tell them.
Even though we show them things, they're not just going to change overnight. Especially they've been brought up this way their whole life.
Yes.
So, that old cross on the wall,
yes.
And every man supposed to have his own house.
Yes.
You see, before he get married. So if the man didn't already woke up and
but he didn't know that. He didn't wake up in Torah.
But I understand that. But yes. He got there.
Yes.
That old cross that I went and bought, or she went and bought, or whoever bought it, it got to come up off that wall.
So her cross got to go out the house too.
Whoever it is.
Whoever it is got to come out.
Whoever it is. Now that's just me. Now other people might disagree, and that's on them. But certain things, like if you still want to go to church and all this, I'm gonna try my best to be patient. You go ahead and do that, because you're gonna start seeing the Father, because I'm gonna be pulling out the book to show you how that's wrong. You see? Okay. And if you come into a place of worship too, then you're gonna see that that's wrong. So I have to learn to be patient and not necessarily just force feed something.
Okay.
Because when you're forcing somebody, they're gonna reject it. They're gonna reject it off the top. Mm-hmm. So there's, like I said, there's gonna have to be certain work.
Yes. No pork coming in the house.
They gotta be good.
They gotta go.
If we gonna work on us,
we gotta be a compromise.
You see what I'm saying? It's gonna have to be some compromise.
So you being a man now, open up the Torah law. You will compromise with your wife because she ain't woke up yet.
Yeah, I'm gonna work with her. Hold on now. If you're gonna eat some pork,
yes,
you ain't gonna eat it from outside this house. Yes. It's gonna be when you out someplace and don't even tell me about it. Because you know better.
Okay.
You see? So I'm gonna be, every man, he know, well, he should know who he's dealing with. See, I'm not gonna forget that I was that way too.
Yes.
And it took me to come out. But trying to be the commander of my house up under Yah, there are certain things that we just can't do.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
But I'm gonna be patient.
Okay.
For maybe about a year after that, we might have to have a separation.
Okay.
You see. But praise y'all, I'm not in that situation.
Anyone else would like that? Minister Mikael.
Praise the mighty Yah. I agree with separation. Patience is important.
So she would have to get her own dwelling. Or would you pay for it?
She may have to get her own dwelling.
Would you pay for her own dwelling?
No.
You wouldn't, being a man supposed to be the provider of that house. You wouldn't pay for her own dwelling?
Nope.
And why?
Because here's the thing, in me being patient with you, that doesn't mean, if I'm letting you know, like, babe, especially if it's my house, it's my house.
Yes.
Sweetheart, this is the way I found this, the Almighty brought me to it. You're telling me that right now you just don't see it. If you stay in this house, this is what's gonna have to happen. We're getting rid of the crosses. We're going in the refrigerator. We're getting rid of the swine. We gonna start doing things. And if you just, because what's gonna happen is she's going to become rebellious because she's going to feel like she's forced to do something that she don't want to do. So the best thing for us to do is, and I would take my advice from Minister Dan and King David, separate. I'll set you somewhere else. You and the children go here. And then
so you saying
we still, but it's not going to be the type of separation where I totally separate from you, where I'm going to look for another woman. No, that's time for me to build with Yahweh, and then that's for us to and I'm still going to work with you in that law, because I still have to bring up our children in that law.
Yes,
that's right. But and you didn't mention children, so let me take that back.
I didn't mention children. It's just a husband and wife.
You just said husband and wife, so forgive me for adding children.
But it's cool because you got those cases with children in it. It makes it more even complex.
Right. For me, as far as for me and my wife, if she was willing to, I'll be willing to work with you if you stay with me. If you're going to understand that we can't do a lot of the things we can do, because I know me, and I know I'm going to be vexed. I come home and it's a Sabbath day and you playing Al Jarreau, and you watching TV, and I'm like, what are you doing? Or I come in and she got it, and I walk in and she done cooked something or brought something in from outside, or she might be like, well, I ain't eating it, and I'm not eating it in the house. So now she on the porch eating some pork ribs. So now I'm gonna be like, well, so this is what we'll do. As Abraham told Lot, let's just separate.
Okay. Let me ask both of you gentlemen this. So if the same thing was on the opposite foot, would you expect your wives to do you the same way?
I would.
Without no argument, or is it? In other words, she can put your cross and get rid of it. She could take your picture down of JC that you have on the wall and get rid of it. Would y'all let y'all wives do that to y'all and tell y'all what y'all can't bring in the house? Would that be a just balance? First of all, would you allow it? And would it be a just balance? Would you think that'd be fair for a man to do that? Yes. Yes.
Well, somebody might say, well, that's a double standard. But if it is, it is. Being the man of my household, if I bought something or whatnot, it's gonna be there. You see what I'm saying? That's because I'm the man of the house. But now, like I say, I'm gonna try to see where she's coming from. I'm gonna do some investigating, because see, you can't.
Let me take you out the picture. Let me cut just for a minute. I'm gonna take you up it because I don't want to make it like with you for somebody else. Would you give a woman, what advice would you give a woman that's in that position dealing with her husband? Y'all work her up. That man is that provider in that house, and she's the helpmate. Of course, she's there to help assist and everything. Would you give that same advice to her that for her to do with her husband?
As
far
far
as-
as being patient.
As far as not only the patience,
Give me some
but
specifics.
as far as the patience, but telling him that, well, if you want me to stay with you, this cross gotta go that you got up in this house. I'm with Yah. She's strong with Yah now. She see the truth. She said, hey, I'm not cooking you pork. I know you the husband, but I'm not making you no pork ribs today. Ain't no pork chops. I'm not doing it. Will she be rebellious? Will she be defying the order of Yah? Not submit herself to the will of desire to her husband? What advice will you give a woman in that position?
I'm not going to advise her to stay. I'm not going to advise her to go against the Creator. I'm not going to advise her that anything. Now, I will say, try and be patient. But then again, I would a person, depending on their mind state, would expect certain things to come about. Certain changes would have to be made. There would have to be compromises on both sides. You see what I'm saying? But I was saying in the case where I was talking about myself,
Yeah,
knowing me and being the man that I am or whatnot, if the time for separation came, if I had to choose, and y'all know I would hate to make that choice. But if it came to you and y'all, and I got to make a choice, Shay, you got to go. That's just the state that I'm at this point. But you're not talking about somebody that's at that point, right?
Yeah.
Now. You're talking about somebody who just woke up. That's what I'm saying. Patience is going to be your best avenue at that point. And then even though I said a year might seem like a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But if you've been together for enough time, a year won't seem that long, especially when one is trying to encourage the other with Yah's word. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If the other is actively participating and coming to get some understanding and hearing and being taught. Because see, you don't want to mess around and just throw away a good woman or a good man.
Right.
Because you never can tell what. Give you an example. I didn't know back then that I would be in this position that I'm in today. I didn't know back then that I would have the wisdom that I have today.
Right.
But, through the mercies of Yah, hey, I got a lot wiser.
Mm-hmm.
I got a lot wiser. So I would encourage people to not just be rash, because being rash is one of the worst things that we can do.
Yes.
But no, I would not encourage a woman to just say, no, you got to stay. Either. No. Because you never can tell what Yah has in store for somebody. I can't put myself in that particular position. You see
So what you say it's a different standard for the woman than it is for the man when it comes to that.
Be very specific, because I don't want to get ahead of myself.
For us, because we know in the Torah, Yah says the wife desires to be toward her husband.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the order of things is one is following Torah. Just say a Christian is following. They got some of the concepts of Torah. That Christian man, that's his house.
Mm-hmm.
And they go by Genesis.
Mm-hmm.
About, and she readily submits to her husband.
Mm-hmm.
So that's already, those two things is already in place.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as if she's woke up and he's not, see, there is no thing about a man desires to be full to his wife and he to submit to his wife. You won't find that. Or a woman putting a man out the house.
Absolutely.
So you're dealing with two different things. So that's why I asked it that way. What advice would you give that man? What advice would you give that woman? Because I'm seeing that a woman is in a harder position than that man is. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're dealing with putting away, there is no scripture about a woman could put a man away if she find, or husband away if she found uncleanness in her husband. There is none. Absolutely none. The only thing that the scriptures speak about, if a man take him another wife and he do not the duties of the husband, providing the food, raiment, and I believe we're gonna go there and read it, the clothing or shelter, the clothing, then she's free to leave she's free to leave. So I mean, it's more difficult for women
Absolutely.
to get out from that. So the advice is, what do you give the women? What do you give the man? You know, because we both get patience should be on both sides.
I would definitely encourage her to be patient, but I would also encourage both of them to seek counseling, but not counseling from anybody. Not counseling from anybody. I'm not and it would be hard probably for the man because he'd find himself trying, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes men can be a little bit more aggressive in their nature, but I would try to get them to get some counseling according to Yah's word, even though that man might not be necessarily agreeable right away. But like I say, there would have to be compromises, or there should be compromises for the sake of not destroying that marriage. And then if it just don't work, it's not going to work.
Okay, I'm gonna hear, Michael, I want the sisters to comment if they want to on the issue as well, because it's safety the most to the council. Y'all just, you know, he just don't deal with men. Go ahead, brother Mikael.
Praise Yahweh. To deal with if it was vice versa, I look for clapback, regardless on where it is. If I'm going through, if the man comes to the knowledge and he's ripping crosses off the wall that he bought or that she bought, I look for clapback. I don't look for her to just be like, okay, honey, but it's not fair. I look for what you doing, the whole neck. I'm looking for all that. Same with the man. You come in, it's my house.
Yeah.
So you ain't touching nothing that I put on this wall that I paid for. Now, when it comes to the advice, for the advice of the man, I would tell him, of course, as stated, patience, but then I would let him know that this is your house. So you govern this. The Almighty is using you to govern this house. So you have to make sure, it's up to you to make sure that his laws, statutes, and commandments are being followed in your house. Now, I would not, me myself, would not say anything like divorce her or put her away. That ain't my place. That's not my place. The Yahweh hates putting it away, so that should be my mindset. If y'all can work it out, work it out. If you can't, then maybe y'all should look into separating. Where she got her own place and she, you know what I'm saying, do what she do, and you here and you walking with the Almighty. Now, when it comes to the woman, if the woman says, hey, what am I to do? I would refer her to Nabal and Abigail. And what I would do is, and I would say is because Nabal, when the young man came to Nabal to say, hey, can you, you know,
he was known as a fool.
Right. We just want food and, you know, bread and water or whatever. Yeah. And Nabal was like, who is this King David? And he refused to give it to him. Instead of Abigail following him and then she was like, oh, you know, she prepared. So she prepared on her own to stop.
Yeah.
And then when that happened, the Almighty took Nabal out and Abigail ended up being King David's wife. And I would use that situation to say, you know the law, you have to serve Yahweh as an individual, even though the man rules in his household, Yah rules over the man. So you have to incorporate his laws and his statutes, and if he's choosing not to go to Sabbath, you go. You go. Because at this point, when the Almighty is the one that's going to make this man flip and turn around and bring to him. Yeah. So you don't go in there trying to come in him like you rule the household. No, you say, baby, I respect your position, but Yahweh is my king. And if he come to you and say, hey, well, I still want you to prepare pork. I want my shrimp. I still want my fat back. I want you to make it how you make it. You can tell him, no, I'm not going to do that, honey. I'm not. And if he do come at you and say, well, your desire should be to me. And then that's why it's important for sisters to be in the scriptures to get an understanding. Like, honey, that's talking about as far as intimacy. If you like wings and I don't, that don't mean I'm going against this commandment. So, honey, the Almighty said in the same book that you worship from says no pork. Honey, I'm not going to cook no pork. And then that way, if the woman say, and then that's when the woman gird herself up in strength in case that man say, well, you're going to have to get out.
Right. Okay.
I understand, you know, but it takes strength and it takes, you know, building with Yahweh. So that would be my point. Praise Yahweh.
Any other sisters have any comments on it? Speak now or forever.
Hold your peace.
Hold your peace.
We would like to hear from a woman.
Yeah. Would anyone like to call in and speak on it? And all you got to do is call area code 513-377-5815. If you like to call in and let your wisdom, let your voice be heard, go right ahead. It's 513-377-5815. But until then, go to Deuteronomy the 7th chapter. Deuteronomy chapter 7. It says, when Yah that Elohim shall bring thee into the land where thou goest to possess it, and I cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites, the Girgashites, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Hittites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou. When Yah that Elohim shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other deities. So will the anger of Yah be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly. So Yah was real specific on giving instructions to Israel and warning Israel, warning the Abba and Eva. You are not to give your sons or daughters to these strange people of the land. But a lot of times you'll find out that Israelites today, or let me ask you, is it wise for Israelite Abba and Ema to let their daughter or son date a dead Jacob? To date an African-American man or woman that don't know Yah, young person. Is that wise? Is that wise to do? Then why are so many Israelite young men and women, so-called boyfriend and girlfriends, or that with people that don't even know who Yah is? They don't even know who Yah is. Try to establish a relationship with somebody that don't even know who Yah is. The person don't, not that they have to, because they don't. But they don't bring them to the class, to the so-called Knesset. They don't teach them most likely like they should be teaching them in a lot of cases. And then they end up getting pregnant by him, or he getting her pregnant. Now you got somebody that's awakened with a seed with somebody that's not awakened. Because it happens so quick. It happens so quick. Now you really got hell on your hand. Really got hell on your hand. But these are things what happen. And she's whether it's the man, young man or the woman, they're not giving up the streets. They're not giving up Christ. In a lot of cases, they're not giving up the life that they live in. But the Abba and Ema allowed their daughter and their son to engage in activities, and I'm speaking about even with their own people. And they don't know Yah. They don't even know Yah. So we got to be careful, because their heart can be turned away from Israelites by birthright, but they don't know Yah. Their heart can be turned away to that type of lifestyle that they live in. Because a lot of young folks, believe it or not, they don't go to church. They just into the streets, into the times that they living in, the music they listen to, and they get influenced by the music, by everything. They take on the behavior of heathen children. Now you got Israelites acting like heathens. So where you pick this up from? My boyfriend, my girlfriend. And who allowed it to happen? The Abba and Ema. Because they're not around to monitor, to see what's going on, to talk to the daughter or talk to the son, to educate them. And that's why y'all had in this law in Deuteronomy 6th chapter. Let's read this, Deuteronomy 6th chapter. And this is what he says. In verse 4, it says, Hear, O Israel, Yah Elohim is one. And thou shalt love Yah, thy Elohim, with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy might. And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thine heart, and thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thy house, and when thou walkest by the way. Now, who's doing this today? That's listening. What Abba and Amos is doing this today? Talking to their children while they walking by the way, while they in the house. Who's doing this? When thou risest up, and thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thy hand, they shall be as frontlets between thy eyes, and thou shalt write them upon the posts of thy house and on thy gates. Ain't nothing written on the posts of thy house. Ain't no commandments written out on the doorposts. But what is on the doorpost is everything of the heathens. The Christmas wreaths and this wreath and this thing and your name with the mail on the mailbox, everything except the law. What the people should readily see written out. Somebody can understand. Read it. Not in Hebrew. Somebody can read it. Because most of our people don't even deal with Hebrew. They don't even speak the language. And you got something there on Hebrew they can't even read. They don't even understand. You got when you're dealing with your people, you got to deal with them in the language that they got to understand. And then you progress on to the language and other things. But this is what happened. But so if you just tuned in, we're dealing with marriage and dealing with a little bit of everything. Now, who will say that the heathen way of marriage is better than Torah? Because some people say, well, Yahweh way of marriage in the Torah is not valid. It's not legal. How is it legal? You didn't go down to the courthouse and get married by the heathens? So how is it legal what y'all doing? Y'all just doing what y'all want to, ain't it? Huh? Let me ask you. Did Adam and Eve go to the heathens? Huh? Did the heathens marry Abraham and Sarah? Huh? Whose way is better? Some say, well, if you don't get married the heathen's way, how's your wife going to be protected, brother? When you deal with the medical insurance and everything that she needs, the benefits that comes with it, how's she going to be protected? You married under Yah. So ain't the heathen's way better when you look at it? Although Yah said his law is perfect, but it really can't be perfect because the heathen way looks better, don't it? Yeah, why the heathen way looks better to you? That's why when she divorces you, she takes half. Ain't brought nothing in. Take the house that you brought. Take the billions of dollars. Don't you know who's that? Bill Gates that divorced his wife. His wife took over $600 billion. He was the one that got all that money from his so-called ingenuity. She didn't bring in nothing. Isn't Yahweh better? What woman would want a man, and man can take a woman to court and take what she got too. Nowadays, he can do her just the way women do men. A man can do the woman the same way. And he ain't work for nothing. He's playing video games. Sitting up drinking beer every day. Now he taking what she done earned and got. So whose way is better? First of all, let me ask you, who all think that get married just under Yah is not valid? It's not legal. I would like them to call in and express it. Call in and express it. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Because I would like to know, how's the heathen's way better? Because Yah said it's real simple. If you find uncleanness in her, you write her a bill of divorcement, put it in her hand, and send her out of his house. Ain't no going to court. Ain't no have to. Now you in the COVID-19. Who's seeing you in court? Now you're in a long wait list. The so-called go before so-called magistrate or judge to hear your case. Then you got to come back months later. Well, I'm ready to move on. And I don't move on. I done left him. And he done separated from me. But have you got divorced from the heathen yet? then what the heck are you doing if you did not engage in activity with other Israelite men and women, and you're not even divorced from your first wife, your first husband? Is this the type of behavior that we have engaged ourselves in? Who told you you was a free woman? Because y'all separated. You see what problem you run into? Now you got a lot of Israelite women out here talking about, oh, we divorced. Oh, we separated. And now they having sexual relationships with other men. Adultery just flying off the chain everywhere. Adultery. It's everywhere. It's bedlam. It's wickedness. Because you wanted to do the way of the heathen. You thought the heathen way is right. Now, if you go the route of the heathen, you under the heathen's agreement. You is under the heathen's contract. Don't come crying now. Talking about, oh, I realized Yahweh was better. Now I gotta wait. Don't be calling me on the phone talking about Yoel, I'm a free woman. I'm talking to this brother, and and I like him, and but me and my former lover, we still married on paper. But we ain't together. He went his way, he got his woman, and I think I done found me another man. You ain't found, you better not found no another man. What you talking about? You found another man. You still under contract with the heathen. So you gotta wait on the heathen. You made that agreement. You made that agreement. So I know God's way is better. He said, write it to her. She go her way. You go her way. What did Abraham do with Hagar? Huh? Did not he send her away? With a bottle of water? Say, go, you free, you go. Ain't no wait, no week, no 2 weeks, no month, no 6, no year. You fighting it out in court. 2 or 3 years going through divorce. Who's gonna get this? Who's gonna take this? All that foolishness. If you only stick to Torah law, which is perfect, you will not have those problems. But most of y'all, you run into problems because you thought the heathen's way was better. And I'm thinking about Israelites that knew Yah. You still with the route of the heathen. And that was your choice to do. That was your free will to do. But better be it known, you go that route under that contract agreement. Like this. If you in a contract agreement to work for a temporary organization for a 6-month assignment. If another job called you, could you take it?
Contract.
Could you take it? Let's think about this now. Offer you more money. You only make $12 an hour for this one temporary agency. This other one call you. We're gonna give you $20 an hour. You mean to tell me you can't quit?
That's right.
You can't quit Staff Mark, CBS, what's that, Delco, and all the other Delco, and go work for Employment Plus somewhere, and they offer you more money? You under contract. But you know what today? Men don't respect contract. That's why basketball coaches, football coaches can get bought out of contracts. It don't matter. Contracts mean nothing today. Agreements don't mean nothing. Covenants don't mean nothing today. In Israel or in society. That's how bad it is. The word that you give don't mean nothing. It's sad. That it has come to that. But let's be honest, how many of us don't work for a temporary agency and you sign a contract and somebody else called you, you took that job and you quit? Who done that? Who done that before? Or how many people had a contract with somebody to pay them that day and you didn't pay them? According to Torah law, when a man work for you, you're supposed to get paid that day. It ain't no come back in no week, come back tomorrow. You're supposed to pay that man that day. We only deal in a society that you gotta wait or by a week or bi-weekly in order to get paid. Our people didn't function that way. You work and you got paid that day. That's why I love the what they call it, you doing the Uber and the or what you doing the Lyft. You work, you get paid that day. Ain't no working to the end of the week. I need money now. But that's what happened. Because they don't know the judgments of Yah. And that's what Yah said. He said he showed his word unto Jacob, the statute and judgment unto Israel. He ain't dealt so with any other nation. That's for a judgment they have not known them. Praise Yah. The other nations don't know. That's why the law is different from state to state. And you got to know the laws of each state that you live in. Because they different. You go to Colorado or some place where marijuana is legal. You go another place you live where it's not legal. You get caught with a certain ounce. You get caught with a gun in certain states, you go to prison. Certain states, you can have weapons. You have a knife a certain inch long, you get caught out in public, you go to jail. Other places, you conform with the law. So we must not only get knowledge when you're dealing with the word of Yah, being in captivity, you got to get knowledge in all aspects of your enemy and what he deals with. You got to be on the know. You got to be in the know. So with that being said, I'm done for today. Praise Yah.
Oh, yeah.
Praise the mighty Yah. The y'all Zuriel and who do y'all want to come up and y'all want to do something? What you want to do? What you want to do? Let's move out. So y'all got center stage. But praise the mighty Yah and at 6 o'clock, as I said, if anybody have any questions, all the 3 teachers going to be up here taking any questions that you may have, so we can address the subject matters that we dealt with today. If no one have none, then we will adjourn the class. So I want to serve the questions that you all might have regarding the subject matter of marriage or clothing or day and night, whatever you was on your mind that you couldn't answer or ask. Answer at that time, but right now we're going to bring up the 2 lions of Yehuda. These are sons of my brother Azariah. Hallelujah. Y'all wanna go acapella? All right. They're gonna go acapella. Do y'all acapella? Do y'all think?
Praise Yah.
There you go, brothers.
When Yah is on your side, you do not have to cry. Just call his holy name. He is worthy to be praised. Praise Yah for the day, praise Yah for the night. Praise Yahweh with all your might. You can't be afraid to praise Yahweh. He's all that we got to the end of the day. When I wake up and when I go to sleep, I think about Yah, the true Elohim. If you ain't seen it, everybody stand up. Repeat after me and put your hands up. When Yah is on your side, you do not have to cry. Just call his holy name. He is worthy to be praised. Praise Yah.
Praise
Hallelujah. Yeah.
I'm Yah's child. I'm like no other. I'm Yah's child. Not even like my brothers. I'm Yah's child. I'm wonderfully made. I'm Yah's child. That's what the scriptures say. You might see something special in me and may wonder what it could be. Well, it is no mystery. It's the power of the Most High that you see. I'm Yah's child. I'm I'm like no other. I'm Yah's child, not even like my brothers. I'm Yah's child. I'm wonderfully made. I'm Yah's child. That's what the scriptures say. You might see something special in me and may wonder what it could be. Well, it is no mystery. It's the power of the Most High that you see. I'm Yah's child. I'm like no other. I'm Yah's child. Not even like my brothers. I'm Yah's child. I'm wonderfully made. I'm Yah's child. That's what the scriptures say. We are near the end of this song. See you next time. Shabbat shalom. But before we move along, let's sing it for you once more loud and strong. I'm Yah's child. I'm like no other. I'm Yah's child. Not even like my brothers. I'm Yah's child. I'm wonderfully made. I'm Yah's child. That's what the scriptures say. I'm so happy that Yah loves me. Being Yah's child is the best to be.
All right.
Yahweh.
Praise God.
And at this time, we're going to take, all three teachers going to take questions that you have regarding what has been taught. You got questions on the Feast of Unleavened Bread, the Passover, dealing with clothing, and dealing with marriage. Let me say this, we're going to have a beautiful sister with us next Shabbat, Sister Sabrina. She's one of the listeners that listen by way of the internet. Love the sister, love her spirit. She will be with us next Shabbat. And once again, I'd like to thank all those that sent your support. With my father, the passing of a great elder and teacher and leader, HouseofYisraEL. Thank you, brothers, once again. Moray Elkanah from Atlanta, Georgia. Moray Ishaya from the House of Israel. Moray Mordecai, the House of California Avenue, and Moray Alrod. The other Morays here in Cincinnati, Ohio. Love them, appreciate them. We all don't agree 100% on everything, but we all are still family. As those that listen to us by way of the internet, we are all family. We're not going to see everything eye to eye. We're here to hopefully lend our wisdom and understanding on what we have been taught by our teacher, Elisha Israel, for many, many years, and even some things that he might have taught us, we have changed from. Some things, not everything. 99% of everything that he taught, we still teach. 99%. The only different things that we teach now is, for one, is on the Day of Atonement, y'all don't command us to fast. But if you choose to fast on that Day of Atonement, that's what you choose to do. And I just teach it from the Hebraic standpoint of it. Y'all told the nation to humble ourselves. And that's what Israelites most do. They humble themselves by fasting on the Day of Atonement. We never taught against fasting. Fasting is good. It's good. Never taught against that. But one of the questions was, and who had the question?
Let's see. We're going with Brother David Logan.
Shalom, Brother David Logan.
Shalom,
I'd like to
brother.
thank you personally for all your support over the many years. You're a great elder. Like I said, if you happen to be in the city, I would love to have you here teach at the House of Yehuda. It would be a great blessing. You, Sister Valencia, a lot of the brothers and sisters that listen by way of the airways. We would love to have you all teach, whether you a man or a woman. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You is family. Go
He
ahead.
said, if an Israelite man and woman marry, the man wake up to know that they are Israel, that they are Israelite. He should have patience and not expect her to change overnight. If the woman does that which is so bad, okay, let's see, because it's impossible to live with them, he should separate himself from her. Okay, and he says, same thing for the woman. Only thing is that she can't divorce him. He should give her a bill of divorce. That's what I believe is according to the law. I may be wrong.
Yeah, well, if it was in our homeland, of course, either party would have been, or both of them, when they commit adultery, they would have been stoned to death. But since we did it from a captivity standpoint, Yah said his mercy endures forever. We was all once, or many of us, should I say, was Christians or Muslims, didn't know Yah. And it was only of his mercy that he woke us all up to come and know him. He was very patient with us. But since we're dealing with a very delicate subject of marriage and that type of relationship, I think it's very imperative that the man or the wife be very patient and at least give their spouse at least a year. That's what the scriptures led me to, at least a year. And if you have to separate, that's good. Separate, but don't be quick to divorce, because Yah wakes people up in his time and season. There was a question about someone dealing with unleavened bread.
Yes.
Who was it?
Who me?
Who me? Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, brother.
Got a question. So do we not supposed to take out all the leavening out of the house?
Get it. Let Marie Michael address that.
Praise the mighty Yah. To address that with the unleavened bread and removing it from your houses, let's look at scripture. Turn to the book of Leviticus, chapter 23. In the book of Leviticus, chapter 23, sorry. We're going to look at let's start reading at the 4th verse of Leviticus 23, and I'm going to take you to another scripture. It says, these are the feasts of Yah. Now, prior to this, of course, this is dealing with the weekly Shabbat. Now we're going to deal with the Passover and the Feast of Unleavened Bread. So starting in the 4th verse, it says, these are the feasts of Yahweh, even holy convocations, which ye shall proclaim in their season. In the 14th day of the 1st month, at even, is Yahweh's Passover. Now in the 6th verse, it reads, and on the 15th day of the same month is the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Unto Yahweh 7 days ye shall eat unleavened bread. Now your question was, should we take leaven out of our houses? If you want to, yes. I don't teach against that. That if you want to, because we still have to teach our youth about this. If you have youth, if you want to remove the leaven, there's nothing wrong with removing the leaven out of your houses during this time. Now, what we cannot do, as what was brought out in the book of Deuteronomy 16 and 16, what it deals with, we can't say that we're keeping the Feast of Unleavened Bread, because we're unable to keep the Feast of Unleavened Bread, because during that Feast of Unleavened Bread, that we had to meet and go, all the males met and went to Jerusalem. Now, because we're unable to do that, and there were certain rites with the Feast of Unleavened Bread that we cannot do. When it talks about coats, I meditated on that today, dealing with coats. or dealing with your gates. Your coasts are surrounding area around the region in which you live in, or the region that belongs to you. Now, in order for us to remove leaven out of our houses, this is something. The Feast of Unleavened Bread is a feast day that was to be kept when we were at home. This is not a feast day that we can keep here in captivity. However, once again, if you want to remove the leaven, if you want to eat leavened bread for the 7 days, you can do that. You can do that. There's no sin against doing that. The only thing is that we can't say that we're keeping the Feast of Unleavened Bread. We cannot keep the Passover, and we can't keep the Feast of Unleavened Bread here in captivity because there are certain rights that are tied to it. Praise Yahweh.
Praise Yahweh.
Okay, Uriah Israel says Shalom, Shabbat Shalom family.
Shabbat
Praise
Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.
What must a bill of divorcement include?
Maria.
Well, when one writes a bill of divorcement, pretty much you're going to write that bill of divorcement out based on what that situation is. Let me ask you, if I can, what is the reason for that divorce? If I can just ask that.
No, like I said, just probably asking, like, if you give a woman a bill
Okay,
of
if I
divorce.
know Clinton is saying he's going to give her a bill of divorcement, he's going to write it out, put it in her hand, and give it to her, and then she leaves his house. Unfortunately, a lot of times, the guy seemed to have moved into the woman's house for whatever reason, or didn't have a house of his own. But let me say this, once he gives that bill of divorcement, and she's going and she gets with another man, you can't take that woman back all of a sudden. It's over. At that point, she's defiled.
You want
Praise the mighty Yah. I actually, shamefully, I've been divorced. So I actually had to write out the bill of divorcement. So what I ended up doing was, even though, and you were absolutely right, Minister Yoel, even though I wrote the bill of divorcement, we still had to go through this man's court in order to be fully divorced. So what I wrote in the bill of divorcement was simply I put the date, and I didn't put a reason why before the bill of divorcement, just the date, and that here you can put here from here on out or whatever you want to put in it, in the sense of declaring, because this is a declaration or proof of your divorce. So you put whatever information you need to have in there because it's meant for her. This bill of divorcement is for her, so that if she moves on to another Israelite brother who knows the law, she can show him, this is my bill of divorce. My husband divorced me here, here, here. Now, as Minister Yoel stated earlier, if the individual is married through this man, not only do you give her the bill of divorce, but you also still have to end everything through this man's court system. But if you didn't go through this man's court system, then all you do is hand the bill of divorce. Now, what you put into that bill of divorce, when studying this, I haven't seen anything in particular. You just want to make sure that it is proof of declaration of divorce, because this is for the wife. This isn't for the husband to keep. This is for the wife. The wife has to have this declaration so that when she does choose to get with another man, that she can show it to him, like, here's my bill of divorce from my first husband, and I'm free to be your wife. The bill of divorce is not for you to get a new boyfriend. This is for you when you get a husband. Say, here, I'm looking for a husband. You want to be my husband? Here's my bill of divorce. But it has to have the declaration on why you're doing it. If you want to title your bill of divorce with this scripture here, this law, put that in. Put that in. So that when men see it, they say, okay, you got this bill of divorce. No, that's what it's for. So you put it in there, giving that declaration on, hey, I divorced this woman. You can put the date. You don't have to put the reason why. I didn't see where you did. Correct me if I'm wrong. I didn't see where you had to put that in the bill of divorce. It just had to be, here's my bill of divorce. And it's to be handed to the next man for proof that you were divorced. Praise God.
Who me? I have a testimony. My wife is back in the house. She have decided to put Yah first. So it's going on 2 weeks now. And so far, so good. We are doing Bible study, and all praises to the Most High Yah.
Praise Yah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Let's see. Jacob Israel. What is considered servile work?
What is considered servile work? You want to address that? Sure, Maria.
Is he talking about doing servile work is servile work, but is he talking about doing their work on the Sabbath day or something like that?
No, he just said what is considered
Where he's
servile?
going for his job, his employment. But when we're talking about like not doing any work on the Sabbath day. Well, I was gonna just throw that in there for extra. You see, but you know, when you don't want to do, say on the Sabbath day, you're not going to your regular job, but somebody want to pay you to fix their roof, or they want to pay you to paint their house or do something. You definitely don't want to get involved in doing that on the Sabbath day. Okay, matter of fact, you don't want to do any work on the Sabbath day. So if you can clean the tub out that Friday night, so you can take a bath that Saturday or whatnot, better do it the best way you can. So you don't want to have the children there clean up the room, taking out the garbage, making up the bed, none of that type of stuff.
I'm gonna give you 2 scriptures, my brother, as Maria, the backup of Maria said. Leviticus the 23rd chapter. Yah's dealing with his holy days. The first one, of course, is the Shabbat. The second is dealing with the Passover. In Leviticus the 23rd chapter, the 4th verse, and these are the feasts of Yah, even holy convocations, which ye shall proclaim in their seasons. In the 14th day of the first month at even is Yah's Passover. And on the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread unto Yah. 7 days ye must eat unleavened bread. And the first day ye shall have a holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein. Then you go to the servile work. I'm sure you go to Exodus the 12th chapter. And this is the only work that we was allowed to do on the Feast of Unleavened Bread. And of course, the Feast of Unleavened Bread is on the 15th day of the first month. In Exodus the 12th chapter, the 16th verse, it said, and in the first day, there shall be a holy convocation. We had no holy convocations at night. All of our holy convocations are in the day. Passover was not a holy convocation. Nowhere in the scriptures. And the Passover is only on the 14th. The Feast of Unleavened Bread is on the 15th. And right here, you're reading about the Feast of Unleavened Bread. And the first day, so there should be a holy convocation. And in the 7th day, there should be a holy convocation to you. No matter what work should be done and they'll say that which every man must eat, that only may be done of you. And just what we did on the Feast of Trumpets. You read about servile work dealing with the Feast of Trumpets. And you read about our people dealing with preparing food on the Feast of Trumpets, or say for whom nothing was prepared, but there's no violation in the law of preparing food on the Feast of Trumpets or on the Feast of Unleavened Bread. But the Sabbath day and the Day of Atonement, it says don't do no matter work, no matter. But on this, it says, except that which every man must eat, that only may be done of you. And basically dealing with occupation, as my brother said. Even dealing with the Hebrew, you look it up, study it, you're dealing with occupational work.
Okay, Elias, main question. So-called Christians believe once saved, always saved. Can you point to the New Testament verse that say this is not true?
Read that, say that again.
So-called Christians believe once you're saved,
Once
you're
you're saved,
always saved.
once you're saved, Christians believe once you're saved,
You're always
you're
saved.
always saved.
And he said, can you point that out? And can you point to the New Testament verse that said this is not true?
Well, according to the New Testament book of Hebrews, it says, if you sin after the knowledge of truth have been revealed unto you, then there's no more sacrifice for your sins. And of course, the New Testament teaches that the Christ of the New Testament is the sacrifice for sins. So it's even telling them, and the New Testament also says that sin is the transgression of the law. That's how it defines sin. And all are under the law, according to the New Testament. Now, if all are under the law, all are living in sin, and all can transgress the law. So it's false. Basically, it's false. A lot of Christians, they still sin. Most of them do sin. Just by telling me you're a Christian, you surely undoubtedly going to sin. Just by let me know you are a Christian. So that concept is totally flawed. And we'll take one more. We're gonna adjourn it.
I have a question.
You have a question for Murray Mike? Yes.
Is the individual might be listening. I hope she is.
Yes, ma'am.
Israelite couple that got married downtown. And then the husband gave her a bill of divorce in her hand. Now, taking that, do she still have to wait until she go downtown to be officially divorced? Or can she think, well, I think she think that just getting that in her hand, that she is divorced. So can you expound on that?
Praise the mighty Yah. Yes, ma'am. She does. She's still married. She's still married. And some may say, well, why do you have to honor this land's guidance of marriage if it's not constituted by Yah's will? Well, we still do. For example, when Joseph was by himself and the Pharaoh's wife came on to him, he didn't have the mindset of, well, she's not married under Yahweh's law, so let me go in unto her. Well, the thing is, and we also were told that we have to, in the book of Jeremiah, we have to keep the peace of the city. Right. And part of keeping the peace of the city is we have to follow the laws and the statutes of the land that we're in, as long as it does not conflict with Yahweh. And the unfortunate thing is that even though she's received the bill of divorce, had they not went downtown to get married at all, and it was just married under the will and under the statutes of Yahweh, then wouldn't have to worry about going downtown to this man. But unfortunately, what we do sometimes is that, we think, as you brought out that point, how's my wife going to be covered? How's this going to be covered? This, that, and the other. And we go down here, we get on this man's paperwork. So now, even though we got the bill of divorcement, we still are married. And this man, you may say, well, what do you mean by that? Well, because he's still married by this law. So you have to go down and you have to fully get rid of everything. And some people may say, well, wait a minute, why? Well, let me explain to you why. Number one, you're still considered a man's wife, even though you receive a bill of divorcement, but you're still on paper as a wife. And that's how the state sees you. You are this man's wife still. So if anything jumps off, say, for example, if this man goes and gets another woman pregnant, well, that woman can come after the wife for child support. I just found that out not too long ago, that the wife can come after the woman for child support. See, and that's just a small example of what Minister Yoel was saying on how this system is set up. So yeah, that can happen. And now that don't mean that she's gonna get anything, but she can still cause that problem for the wife. So the thing is, if you're married by this law, you still have to go downtown and get your marriage dissolved.
Can you say that last part again? If he goes, can you say that last part again about if her?
If she doesn't divorce him,
Okay.
they're still on papers.
Mhm.
Now she can say, I got a bill of divorcement, but she's still married according to the state. So because she's still married according to the state, that's what the state sees. So if this man happens
Mhm.
to get another woman pregnant and he
Okay.
deserts her, well, she can come after the wife for child support.
Oh.
Now the woman can say, hey, I'm not even married no more to him. But according to the state, you're still on papers as this man's wife. So all that has to be dissolved. And I just found that out not too long ago from a situation from someone that I know that it happened to, and it stressed her out.
Thank you. Thank
So
you.
praise Yahweh, praise the mighty
You
Yahweh.
got one last question for Marie, yeah?
Yeah, this is the brother that asked Shalom about what the bill of divorcement includes. He was like, right, thank you very much. Hallelujah. How do you get married in accordance to the law?
This man's law or Yah's law? Or
I'm taking it according to law. I'm thinking he's talking about Yah's law. How do you get married according to Yah's
Well,
law?
first of all, you're gonna take a wife. In other words, it's sort of like what they call being engaged here. If you ask a woman to marry you and she agrees to marry you at that particular point in time in our culture, she is your wife. Now that don't mean you can go ahead and what's the word I want to use? Yeah.
Cohabitate.
Yeah, no, not cohabitate. When you
Consummate.
when you yeah, that don't mean I'm sorry. That don't mean go ahead and consummate the marriage. That means she is off the market, and then after that, then you're going to have a wedding ceremony. However, you should make sure that other people know that she is no longer available, because what will happen is sometimes the person might see another man whispering in her ear or something to this effect, and then he's going to really feel the way. But hold on, let me make sure I got that question again, because I don't want to.
He said, how do you get married in accordance of the law? He said Yah's law.
And then you have a ceremony, okay? And after the ceremony, then you can consummate the marriage. But it's not like I ask a woman to marry me and then she's my wife and then we consummate the marriage. No, you're gonna have a ceremony and then everybody will know. Yeah, you're gonna have witnesses. People gonna see what's going on. Now, as far as that bill, you didn't ask anything about a bill of divorcement.
Well, he did. No, he was asking what was included in the bill of divorcement, but then he came back and said, well, how do you get married in accordance of God's
Okay, so
law?
that divorcement thing was part of the question, because I want to answer that as
Yeah,
well.
you answered that first.
Did I?
Yeah.
Okay, because I was gonna
Yeah.
say, I had to write a bill of divorcement before in the past myself.
But then explain
And in
that.
that bill of divorcement, of course, I put the date, I put the reason why, and I hinted it, bill of divorcement.
Mhm.
Okay, and I put some things in there, just basic, pretty much what it was for, and said that she's free and clear, you're gonna be another man's wife. And I gave it to her. But I want to make sure I fully answered that whole question, did I? 'Cause
Yeah.
You gotta hold the person up here, and I think. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Yes, Michael. Then we got to adjourn.
Praise the mighty Yah. I love the way my elder answered that question. And one example that I would love to give is in the book of Genesis 29. And this is when Jacob worked his 7 years for Rachel. And this is what happened. And I'm not going to read the whole chapter. You can. But it's good to read it. But I'm only going to start at verse number 18. And it says, and Jacob loved Rachel. And I'm in the book of Genesis 29 and 18. It says, and Jacob loved Rachel and said, I will serve thee 7 years for Rachel, thy younger daughter. And Laban said, it is better that I give her to thee than that I should give her to another man. Abide with me. And Jacob served 7 years. And Rachel and Leah seemed unto, and Jacob served 7 years for Rachel, and they seemed unto him but a few days, for the love he had to her. Verse 21. And Jacob said unto Laban, give me my wife, for my days are fulfilled, that I may go in unto her. As my elder stated, there was a process. He worked the 7 years. Now, he worked the 7 years, from my understanding, so that he could build capital. And that's the one thing that the Almighty tells a man to do, is be established. And once you are established, then you can go and seek for you, as he stated, you have to look for a wife first. So he had already found his wife, which was Rachel. Then he worked 7 years. And in that 7 years, he built capital. So then once that 7 years was fulfilled, then it says in verse 22, this is what Laban did. It says, and Laban gathered together all the men of that place and made a feast. So there was a celebration to let everybody know that this woman is off the market. So you do want to have, as Minister Yoel stated too, witnesses. Because the one thing you don't want to do is come in and want to have these secret marriages. If you with a woman that you don't feel confident enough to let the world know that this is going to be your wife, then you might not want to marry her. So you do want to have witnesses so that everybody knows that, yo, this woman belongs to him. Praise Yahweh.
So thank you everyone for the questions. This is going to be something that's, if it be by the will and mercy of Yah, it can be every week. So that's why I ask for everyone to hold your questions to the end and just let the teachers teach their lessons instead of being distracted a lot and have to keep stopping. Let them teach on through, and at the end, you can address what they taught and have your questions written down. We'll deal with it. And I appreciate your patience, your tolerance, and I thank the mighty Yah for another Shabbat day. And I pray that you all be with us. It be by the will of the Most High next Shabbat day. And don't mind asking us questions at all. That was our format of all of our teachers, to ask questions. There's no thing as a dumb question. So we appreciate you. We love you. And we hope you join us again, if it be by the will of Yah. Let us all rise and adjourn. And for those I didn't get to the questions, I do apologize. It says, and Yah spoke unto Moses, saying, speak unto Aaron and unto his sons, saying, ye shall bless the children of Israel, saying unto them, Yah bless thee and keep thee. Yah make his face shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. Yah lift up his countenance upon thee and give thee peace. Hallelujah! Hallelujah!
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah!
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah!
Hallelujah.
Praise the mighty Yah. Yah is righteous. Yah is holy. Let Yah be magnified. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Still on it?
Because if they can't, and the thing that's so deep about